back to Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Which one's Jerry?
With your friend, Jerry Seinfeld.
Does Jerry always drive?
No.
I feel like I should be Jerry.
You're Jerry. I'm George.
You're Newman.
Newman? No.
Newman.
No. No, I can't
George.
be Newman.
You gotta be George, right?
I could maybe be, who's the crazy one?
Michael Richards.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
his character is
Kramer.
Kramer.
Yes.
That'd be you too.
I can't be Jerry and Kramer.
I could be Kramer.
Okay. I could be Dramer. I could be Crary.
Welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. Jason and I are driving to Savannah.
Yes. That's in Georgia, by the way.
We are headed down there for a photo shoot, have a awards banquet and conference to photograph down there. And it was too big for one of us to handle individually, so I said, hey buddy,
I'm expensive.
You want to come out of the retirement?
I'm not retired yet. Jeez.
I know, but you're more retired from photo than anything. You're spending more time on video.
That is correct. Now you might be wondering to yourself, hey, they are in a car. That's strange. Why aren't they riding motorcycles? Well, when you have a total of 45 pounds of light stands and 23 pounds of cameras and 14 pounds of flashes that you need to carry for a gig like this, you have to not do the thing that's fun and ride the motorcycle.
Plus you got to show up in relatively decent attire.
That's true. I did bring my travel shirt, and I will change
when we
just
get there.
prior, and then I will have something comfortable that's not sweaty to ride back home in.
So you're saying I'm going to show up and be like nasty and...
Yes, you fell just below the bar in the pre-planning department. Right.
I'm hoping I don't spill anything on myself during lunch.
That's true. You probably should order all clear liquids.
Yep.
Yes.
No barbecue.
You get scrambled eggs with no cheese.
Well, cool. What are we going to talk about today?
I don't know. We were discussing cameras here just a moment ago.
Yes. Well,
and so you are using for this job 2 of your full frame Nikons, and we were discussing lens choices for an event.
Yep.
So you're using full frame, and I'm using crop sensor.
Yep.
And we were going through the list of our normal usage and what would be appropriate and what is still on our wish list of lenses.
So I'll be using 2 Nikon Z9s, and actually you'll be using one of the Z9s for headshots.
That's true.
And then when we transition to the awards portion, then I'll take over both Z9s, and I'll be shooting with 24 to 70 2.8 and 70 to 200 2.8 because I'm a zoom kind of guy.
You are a zoom kind of guy. I used to be a zoom kind of guy when I was a Canon guy. I was a 24 to 105 f4 to 70 to 200 2.8. That's all I shot with unless I was doing something artistic when I would use a Russian prime. Nowadays, I flipped it. I flipped the script when I went from Canon to Nikon. I figure if I'm going to change things, I'm going to change everything.
You went prime.
I went 2 crop sensor cameras and prime lenses.
Nice.
13, 33, 56, and then I also have the obligatory 70 to 180 because you just got to have one of those.
And you switched brands.
Right, went to Nikon, yes, and I went to ZFCs, the crop sensors.
Which is such a cool looking.
Super light.
And so cool looking.
Yes. Super light. That's why I like it very much.
I think it fits your look too. You have this retro vibe going on.
Do I need a fedora and a cravat or something like that? Will that finish the look?
I think you should have a bow tie and...
Ooh, I haven't considered the bow tie. But that also means a button up, and I'm kind of adverse to those at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is there a t-shirt bow tie? Is there a bow tie t-shirt?
I'm sure there is, but it's probably black and white and doesn't look cool.
Yes. Well, do we have anything that isn't camera related, that is moto related, that we could speak of that is upcoming?
You just released our latest video.
We did the PHAT.
Hey, give us a comment and a thumbs up if you've seen the PHAT episode 1 yet. Let us know what you thought.
Thank you very much. Released that this morning as of, what's today, the 11th.
So speaking of transitioning to video work, give us an idea of how long it took you to curate all that footage, muddle through it, and cut it down for an episode.
Okay. So on these trips, we have a multiple of different video sources. We both have GoPros. You have a 360. We have the drone. We both have two cameras, or our phones. And then
we both carry cameras too, usually.
We both carry mirrorless cameras most of the time, or at least one. Mm-hmm. So we have multiple sources. Oh, and not to mention your new Vantrues. I used that in the first one.
Good.
In fact, the first shot of episode 1 is your front-facing Vantrue.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Which, if you haven't seen it yet, we have an entire video about the Vantrue. It's a dash cam.
Which adds 2 more cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already up to 9 or 10 cameras, and that was just for the 2 of us.
Uh-huh.
So as you say, curating all of that and finding out what is useful or not starts with an organizational process. So I go through all of the footage throughout the entire trip, the multi-day trip, and I segment it out into what camera it was and what day it was shot.
Okay.
So once I get all of that done, and this one just happened to be January the 10th was the day that I was editing. It was our first initial day after the rainstorm that we got holed up in the hotel. That, just to get that to that point,
right,
was half a day.
Holy smokes.
Yes.
Because you had to go through all of the footage.
I have to go all the footage. I go ahead and organize it all, and I have to go ahead and turn the 360 footage into something that is editable on the timeline, and so that takes a very long time.
Tell us, I know there are a lot of vloggers out there that maybe are considering getting a 360 camera. What's the Cliff Notes?
Oh, the Cliff Notes on how to get that done?
How to get that into conformed.
Well, I'll use GoPro. It basically is the same process no matter what brand of 360 camera you use. There will be an accompanying app that you can play or conform the footage of that device in their applicable app, but I'll use GoPro as the example.
And that's the proper term, is to conform. You're taking 360 degree
and you're conforming it into a rectilinear, rectangle,
a flat piece of
editable piece of footage that you will then manipulate afterwards back into a 360.
And most of that is because your editing program doesn't play nicely with 360 degrees, so you need it into a format that you can drop into your timeline into your editing program.
It's sort of like translating a language. When you translate it, there are things that don't actually translate as well, so you have to turn it into something that the person who is hearing it understands, and that might not be exactly the same format that it came in the original language. Okay. So with 360 footage, if you open up the applicable app, again I'm using GoPro, you would run it through that app, turning it into a globe, a surround sound, or a surround vision. One lens on the back, one lens on the front. That means there's 2 images that are being stitched together around the equator of that vertical equator. So the program turns it into a rectangle that sees all the way from one side to the other, the top being and the bottom being what will be pinched later, and the 2 sides being what will be pinched later. But it turns it into a rectangle. So you drop it into the timeline.
One way I use a plug-in. One way I describe that for people who aren't familiar with 360s, if you take your iPhone out and you're at, I don't know, let's say the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you do one of those panoramic shots with your phone, and it stitches it together into one long panoramic.
That's right.
It's kind of what you're...
Think of a panoramic that does vertical and horizontal all the way around your area. But then you take it into the timeline of your editing program. Now,
which one do you use?
I use Premiere. Adobe Premiere, yes. There are a number of different ones. DaVinci is a really good one, and it's free.
I use Adobe or DaVinci Resolve.
That's right, DaVinci Resolve. There's a number of other ones.
And you've used DaVinci Resolve.
I have.
So if you're getting into video editing or moto vlogging, DaVinci Resolve is a powerful program that's completely free. You can buy the pro version if you wish, which is
only $300, and it comes with a physical controller with knobs and buttons.
But 99.9% of what you would need for just home videos,
you don't need it.
The free version does great.
Yep, you don't need it. Now, there's a caveat to DaVinci. If you're going to step up from a simple editor that's on par with maybe iMovie or something like that, or whatever the Android version of iMovie is, or a PC version of iMovie, Windows Media Maker or whatever it used to be. I don't know what it is now. I'm not a PC guy. But if you're going to move up into this area, you're going to have a learning curve.
Okay.
Because a pro editor is going to have a lot of buttons. I say there's 10% of the buttons you use 90% of the time, but you're going to have to figure those out real quick. And so there will be a time that you're going to have to go to YouTube University and figure out some of this stuff before jumping in with both feet. So, but if you're willing to do that, the world is your oyster.
So then you took all of this footage, all of these things, and you brought them into Adobe Premiere.
Correct.
And you color coded them so you knew which camera was which.
I did.
Visually.
Now there's multiple reasons for doing that. Number one, you can see them visually at a glance to see what audio track goes with what video track. You can see purple, blue. That's the audio and video that are linked, because a lot of times I have to unlink them, but I need to know that these are still mates, you know. The other reason is because if you're going to do an effect to a single camera over the duration of your timeline, it's very simple to right-click it and say select every clip that is that labeled color, and then you can drag and drop one time onto everything.
Okay.
And there's a number of ways to do that as well, but that's the reason I color code everything. It's just another organizational purpose that gives me benefit in multiple ways down the line.
It's efficiency is what it comes down to.
Speed and efficiency.
That's one thing that just amazes me is how efficient you are. And you don't even use a mouse. Everything is...
I use a mouse to locate the thing I want to affect, and then my left hand drives just about everything else.
It just blows me away when I sit there and watch you edit, because it's just like...
Yes, cuts and trims and tool selections and things like that. It's all shortcut keys. But the right hand is just moving to the place or dragging the thing that I want. It's physical manipulation, and the other is a command.
Right. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I might edit like a few of our simple little gear reviews, but here's me. I'm going, click, drag. And meanwhile, you're just like, you're like Nemo in The Matrix, when he realizes his power and he's like fighting the guy with one hand. Like it's when you see all of the code come up.
I see I see it. Yes. Well, I've been saying to you, you should, in reality, you can edit with just the keyboard.
Right.
And if you can figure out how to get all of that going, motor memory kind of thing, and then it doesn't take as much thought. Now you can think about the creation process instead of the building process.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for sharing your process with us. Are you ready for a lunch break?
I am definitely ready for a lunch break.
All right.
Good. Well, enjoy it.
Thanks for watching, you guys. Just
subscribes.
Quick little behind the scenes on some of the magic that happens at the Moto Photo Adventure Studio. And we're going to grab something to eat and then head on down and do our photo shoot.
You are pulling into a McDonald's parking lot, and that's against the rules. See you next time.